What's up, everyone? Welcome back to King Anime Review, and for this video I will be reviewing episode 189 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. In this episode, in terms of art style, looked at drastically different from pretty much every other Boruto episode in the past, but I'll get to that towards the end of the video. But yeah, this episode was the Kawaki Vs Garo fight, and it was a lot longer in this episode than it was in the manga. I don't remember it being this long in the manga. I just recently went back and reread some of those manga chapters, and yeah, this fight wasn't that long. So yeah, they extended this fight, which, you know, that's to be expected, you know, and I think that it was cool that they, you know, extended this fight a little bit, but that made Garo look a lot stronger than he looked in the manga. In the manga, he didn't do all of this. Like, he did do a little bit of damage to Kawaki, but he didn't look nowhere near as strong as he looked in this episode. And yeah, like, he threw Kawaki in the air, like threw Kawaki in the sky at one point. I don't think he did that in the manga. And yeah, so they added a lot of, you know, extra stuff to this fight, which was cool. It was, you know, they showed Kawaki, like, using his body modifications, and he even used that at one point on his feet as well. Like, first he was just using it on his arm, and then he had, like, broke 2 pieces off and then used it on his feet. And that was pretty cool too, a nice scene. And yeah, the fight overall was great. I think they did a good job with the fight. Like I said, they made Garo seem a lot stronger in this fight than he seemed in the manga. He did a lot of damage to Kawaki initially, but Kawaki came back, and he mainly came back after he used his Karma Seal, because his Karma Seal that's what, you know, allowed him to actually end the fight and actually finish off Garo, because before he activated the Karma Seal, it was a pretty back and forth battle between those two when it first started off, and then Garo started to get the upper hand, and he actually basically beat Kawaki, and then Kawaki activated the Karma Seal, and he finished off Garo. And Garo was begging and pleading Kawaki to, you know, allow him to stay alive, and he, you know, basically apologized for what he did and said, you know, stop. And Kawaki said, your breath stink, pig. And then he killed him. Now, yeah, and then he told Boruto and, you know, the Konoha Shinobi Team 7, he told them, because he's still under the impression that they might be trackers from Korra, simply because Boruto has the Karma Seal, and nobody outside of Korra actually has the Karma Seal. So yeah, so he told Boruto and the rest of Team 7 that, you know, go back to Korra and tell them the more people they send, the bodies is just going to keep piling up. And this is a nice contrast between Boruto and Kawaki, because we just seen Boruto show mercy to his enemy, who was Ayo. Ayo's the outer, Garo's the outer. They're both outers, and there's a couple contrasts, you know, differences between Boruto and Kawaki that you can clearly tell. Number one, Boruto, like I said, he showed mercy to Ayo after he defeated Ayo. Ayo was his enemy. Ayo killed Mujino, somebody who Boruto actually built a bond with. And he was the enemy of, you know, he was fighting them, and he was actually trying to kill Boruto and his friends. And yet Boruto showed mercy to Ayo. Kawaki, on the other hand, he fought an outer, and he showed no mercy whatsoever. He killed the outer that he was fighting. He killed Garo. And I think this comes down to simply, you know, the differences between, you know, the life experiences that Kawaki and Boruto has faced. You know, Kawaki being abused throughout his entire childhood, and Boruto living in the Hidden Leaf Village, not really having that many problems in his life besides his father kind of neglecting him. But he really didn't have nowhere near as hard of a life as Kawaki. I mean, he was pretty much always taken care of. He was never abused and stuff like that. And Kawaki, on the other hand, you know, he had a darker childhood. So that's the differences between those two. And Kawaki never really experienced freedom. So that's another reason why he doesn't want to, you know, go to the Hidden Leaf Village, or he doesn't want to, you know, he wants people to leave him alone, just like he said in the last episode. So yeah, all of that was cool, but I don't get why they started the episode off showing us stuff that we already seen last week. They did a little bit, like they showed us a little bit of the stuff we seen last week, but they, you know, redid it. And they did the same thing for last week's episode as well. So, I mean, I guess they're just filling up time. I mean, they're getting real close to the manga right now, so I guess they got to do that. But, yeah, so the fight was great. Like I said, I think the fight was fantastic. I like everything about the fight. And, yeah, so that stuff was cool. And Kashi and Koji and Delta, they were just watching. And yeah, so after Kawaki finished off Garo, like the explosion he finished Garo off with was so huge that it almost, you know, I mean, it would have actually killed Team 7. And in fact, Delta actually thought it did kill, you know, the Konoha Shinobi. She thought it did kill them because how big the explosion was. And I call that the Super Karma Blast. The Super Karma Blast. And yeah, now you guys see how strong Kawaki is. Like, I did a top 20 strongest Naruto character. I mean, top 20 strongest Boruto characters video. Kawaki was #1 in that video. A lot of anime onlys, they never seen Kawaki. I mean, it's some people who claim they can't read the manga, or I mean, I seen somebody say they couldn't read the manga. I mean, I don't know if it's available in their country or whatever. But point being, yeah, now the anime onlys know exactly how strong Kawaki is and why I had him at #1. But yeah, Boruto, he ended up saving Team 7 from that explosion with his karma seal by absorbing the explosion. Just like how he saved Konohamaru from Kashi and Koji's fire a couple episodes ago. And the name of this episode was actually called Resonance, which is, you know, because Boruto and Kawaki's karma seal was actually resonating with each other and reacting to each other, which was cool as well. So, yeah, and then what happened was Kashi and Koji basically said that he got to gather more intel, and he's gonna, you know, let Kawaki go with the Hidden Leaf Village, you know, because he got to gather more intel. And since, you know, he's in charge of the mission, Delta really can't stop him from making those decisions, because Delta wanted to go down there and capture Kawaki herself, but Kashi and Koji basically stopped her. And then at the end of the episode, we got an added scene that, I mean, we got some added extra dialogue that wasn't in the manga with the scientist, Katasuke. He went over to Kawaki and he was just so amazed by what he was seeing. And he actually took some of Kawaki's blood and tried to test it. And then, you know, it turned into that big old, that hard substance that Kawaki uses when he hardened his body with body modifications. And they added some dialogue in here. And Mitsuki, he was wondering, like, is Kawaki, you know, similar to him? But Katasuke said basically, no, you know, he's different because he was modeled with inorganic techniques. He was modeled with inorganic techniques, or, you know, I guess modified. But the point is, Kawaki's actually, we know that Kawaki's a real human being, and Mitsuki was created. Mitsuki was created, he was created using organic stuff, but Kawaki is an actual human being who was just modified with inorganic technology. So he basically had, his body was modified, basically. Yeah, so that was the extra dialogue that was added in. The exact line is, you were created with organic. Katasuke told Mitsuki, you were created with, yeah, he said you were created with, organically created using genetic engineering. And Kawaki was basically, like, his body was modeled, you know, remodeled or whatever. So, yeah, that's, you know, that's pretty much what happened in the episode. And at the end of the episode, Boruto said, yeah, we can't just leave him here. We got to take him back to the Hidden Leaf Village and take him to my dad. So, yeah, so that's what happened in the episode. basically all of this stuff happened in the manga except, like I said, the added dialogue in there with Katasuke talking about Kawaki and stuff like that. That stuff was added in. That dialogue, that little extra dialogue was added in. And other than that, the fight was, it was some stuff added into the fight. But other than that, it was basically just everything that happened in the manga. So, yeah, it was a cool fight. And I enjoyed that. Now, let's get into the art. So, as far as the artwork go for this episode, it looked like they used the manga style for the artwork. And, you know, Konohamaru's hair is like an afro instead of being super spiky how it usually is. And Boruto's hair looks how it looks in the manga. And, yeah, so it pretty much looked like they used the manga art style, which I don't mind the manga art style. I actually think manga actually has some pretty good art. So, I don't mind that. I don't mind the manga art style. And for this episode, it was just kind of weird to see them, you know, change the art style, going from how the anime has it usually looking to how the manga looks with the art style. It was just weird, you know, seeing a change in the art style like that. However, the artwork was still great. It was fantastic. Like, it was great art. It's just that I don't like that they kind of changed it from how it was in the anime to the manga style. Now, like I said, I like the manga artwork. It's just that it's kind of weird that they changed the art style like that. Like, going from having, you know, like, for example, last week's episode, Konohamaru's hair looked how it usually looked in the anime. But in this week's episode, he has that fro. And, you know, it's not just Konohamaru, but, you know, the characters look slightly different. So it's just weird seeing that art style change. But that isn't the first time we've had this in Boruto. And at least this is a positive, you know, at least it looks good, as opposed to like other times we see artwork change, it look kind of bad in some instances. But yeah, the artwork for this episode, a 10 out of 10. Animation, hands down, 10 out of 10. Fantastic animation. And the story for this episode was yet again a 10 out of 10. So this was yet another 10 out of 10 fantastic episode of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. Now, with that being said, anime only, you guys, you know, I'm going to give you a little spoiler warning because I am going to start talking about a little bit of some spoilers as far as the preview goes. So in the preview, Kawaki he's in, I forgot what's the name of that city. I think it's called Roton or something like that. But yeah, he's in the hospital there with Sumire, and then you see the rest of Team 7 there. Now, like I said, the good thing about the preview is the artwork is going back to how it usually looks, which is cool. But the fact that Kawaki is there is, you know, that didn't happen in the manga. He didn't go to that place in the manga. In the manga, he just woke up and he was in the hospital at the Hidden Leaf Village, and Naruto, Shikamaru, and, you know, I believe Konohamaru or Sai, one of them was there. So yeah, but Naruto and Shikamaru was in a room when Kawaki woke up in the hospital. Now, some people are calling this filler. Like I said, the Boruto anime, I said this many times, it's all, basically the entire anime is canon. So it's really no filler in the Boruto anime. Now, here's the thing. The reason why I think they're doing this, on top of the fact that they're probably just trying to add more time, because, you know, they're getting close to the manga. Not super close, but they're still, you know, getting kind of close to the manga. But one reason I think they're doing this is because if you guys remember back in the manga, during the 5 Kage Summit, Naruto was actually talking about Kawaki's body modifications and stuff like that. So obviously they had to do some research on him, and they most likely did some research on him while he was at that scientific ninja tool lab. Now, granted, Katasuke did do a little, you know, basically a tiny little experiment on Kawaki in the episode. So I don't know if it was 100% necessary. As a matter of fact, it might have been 100% necessary because they probably had to do full test on him to fully figure out what was going on with him. So that information that was presented at the 5 Kage Summit, when Naruto was talking to the other Kage about Kawaki's body modifications, you know, that information had to come from somewhere. So this is an example. Next week's episode 190, is going to be an example of, yet again, the anime adding more detail and depth to the story from the manga, which is a fantastic thing. And they do have Kawaki, like, kind of, it's kind of like he got some, so he's restrained, basically. Like, he got some big old, huge handcuffs on. And I'm thinking it could possibly be like, and some people might be wondering, like, how would anybody be able to restrain Kawaki? it's scientific ninja tool technology. It's probably draining his chakra or something like that. So yeah, that's the case with that. But with that being said, yeah, that's all I got to say about this week's episode. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a like. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys thought of my review and of the episode down in the comment section below. And click that channel notification bell to be notified on all of my future videos. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.